We got more jokes on the Cleveland Browns as we're on Shedeur Sanders' watch, and we're watching if he's going to be named the QB2. The media is running crazy. They're running Hulkamania wild on this, and I got some more video clips on what people are saying about Shedeur Sanders. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at what your favorite players are doing behind the scenes, what the media is saying, the radio stations, and also the practice clips. What I'm mainly doing, though, every single day is helping you win money in fantasy football. Waiver wire claims, lineup setting, predicting what players are doing. But we got the side quest here of Shedeur Sanders that we talk about nonstop because it needs done. Click that button, stop missing out. But the big thing right now is if he's not named a QB2, should he request for his release?
We're supposed to sit here and believe that Bailey Zappe is a guy that's the QB2 on this squad. Really, that's what we're doing now?
It would be what is going on that Shedeur can't even be essentially the third-string quarterback and obviously QB2 with Dillon Gabriel now?
The sense I'm getting, which is the coaching staff doesn't believe in Shedeur Sanders. I do wonder, though, if organizationally they need to consider a trade or moving on, giving him a chance to end up somewhere else. I felt this way from the beginning when they drafted him. It seemed like an afterthought.
It feels that Kevin Stefanski wasn't ready to draft Shedeur Sanders, and then upon drafting him, he didn't put a plan in place to handle the person. If he is not named the backup quarterback, it's time to part ways.
He's been there since April. They've got a pretty good body of work. So if they are going to not declare him as the number 2 quarterback, I think it speaks loudly to their vantage point of him.
I think we're on agreement. This coaching staff is not high on him.
I'm going to let you know right now that this is a rookie with a lot of upside, drafted on day 3, that if he hits to that upside, plays to that, you got a quarterback on a day 3 contract that's super cheap that you can build the rest of the roster around and help you get to that Super Bowl status of what you've been begging for years and decades and centuries.
This was Kevin Stefanski pretty much declaring public war on Shedeur, or at least Cold War on Shedeur, because he won't even speak Shadeur's name in these interview sessions. It's like Parcells when T.O. was there. He wouldn't even call his name. He just called him the player. Remember that? And this is degenerated into every time he's asked about Shedeur, he just plays dodgeball and with a bunch of non-answers. And yesterday, he wouldn't even go so far as, and I understand your point about maybe it's not a great thing to be the number 2 on the depth chart. Okay, we'll get into that. Yeah. I understand what you're talking about, but there's just a principle involved here where at least you acknowledge that by default, just by default, Flacco is now gone, Kenny Pickett's now gone, just by default, Shedeur moved up a slot. Yeah, if you want to call him second, you could say that. He's second on the depth chart. I guarantee you Bailey Zappe is now, and they're not putting it up on the website depth chart, but Bailey Zappe's second on the depth chart. I guarantee he'll dress at Pittsburgh, and he will be second in command at that position. And this is Kevin Stefanski showing you once and for all, I didn't want to draft him. I don't like his attitude. I don't like his presence on social media. And above all, if you want to know the truth about Kevin Stefanski, he fears his father. He fears that Deion, if Shedeur ever gets a hold of the starting quarterback job in Cleveland, that before you know it, Deion will replace Kevin Stefanski as the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Because Jimmy Haslam loves Deion Sanders. And I love it that Haslam loves Deion. They did have a big dinner with Shedeur and Deion before the draft. And if Shadeur's ever going to get a shot here, it's only because Jimmy Haslam steps in and puts his foot down, and he's going to probably have to fire Stefanski because Stefanski is now saying, over my dead body will Shedeur get a shot with this year's Cleveland Browns. That's what he's saying to you because he's got no use for him or his father or the way he handles himself. And it just really makes me sick at my stomach. And when I read these quotes, just quickly from Stefanski yesterday, he got asked, well, what do you need to see from Shedeur? He said, I wouldn't say there's one thing you need to see. I have to do what's best for our players and our team. Any decision I make, I want to just make sure that I'm doing what's right for our players. Well, I don't know what that means because it probably doesn't mean anything, but the way I interpret it is he's saying, I've got to keep Shaduer out of the way because he can't play. That's what he's saying. I don't want to get him anywhere near a chance to be even the number 2 quarterback because he doesn't deserve to play on my team this year, and he had dug in before the draft, and shameful.
This is a broken team, and it will be broken if they don't get more focused on player development instead of focusing on just getting by with what they're doing with Dillon Gabriel, what they've been doing with Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett. It ain't working.
Do you think Shedeur will be quarterback number 2? I do.
I don't.
You don't. You think they're going to go with Bailey Zappe?
They'll do one of two things. I think they'll either go with Zappe or DTR's available, and I think they just sign him and have him be QB2.
DTR instead of Shedeur? My head's going to explode.
Gabriel is Stefanski's guy, and Stefanski is getting fired. He is cooked. He is done. It is written on the wall in blood. Stefanski is done.
Oh, it's clearly a disconnect. And I'm not quite sure whether or not they're going to get on the same page, that being the general manager, Andrew Berry, and the head coach, Kevin Stefanski. And I go back to the optics of the war room for the Cleveland Browns when they took Shedeur Sanders. You saw this icy stare down from both Stefanski and Berry. And, Evan, we all took that to mean that Shedeur Sanders was a pick that both of them were against, and that maybe, just maybe, Jimmy Haslam put his thumb on the scale and got involved in football decisions.
Baker Mayfield got out of this Cleveland Browns situation like Andy Dufresne on the other side. He made it out. He had to go to Carolina. He had to play for the Rams, but he made it to Tampa Bay. This could be the same situation here for Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Anytime that, since he was young, he's had the spotlight on him. So people are going to be overcritical about every little thing. The cliche, control what you can control. And that's, as a quarterback, that's how do you win football games and how do you elevate the guys around you. So it's, I think he himself has all the pieces he needs to have success. And it's just about, the time and place.
Deion wanted Shedeur to be placed with a veteran quarterback to help him develop, just like Derek Carr. He wanted that development. The Browns' worst place scenario.
First of all, let me tell you how much I got love for you. I wanted my son to be on the same team that you were on because I know what you would pour into him.
Wow.
I really did. And you don't know the timing of your text message to me, the emotions of your text message, the peace that it gave me. You have no idea what that meant to me. So I'm thanking you again publicly.
Absolutely.
About the DM or text that you sent me.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. You have no idea. But I really did want my son on the same team that you could guide him and lead. I'm telling you, man. And
Yes.
and God has his way, and it's going to work out.
Yeah.
It's going to work out good.
Shedeur is chill. He's a good kid. Sure, there's parts of his game he needs to develop. He needs more practice. He needs more opportunity. But he's still a good kid. And that's one thing that needs to be hammered home here. Like, this isn't just like a kid that acts up or anything like that. This is a very good, sound kid.
You just trying to start something. You feel me? When we not on no negativity from now on, man. We not doing that. I'm just here to be positive, and I don't speak on anything negative, So that's the new wave. That's what we going forward with. Anything negative, we not talking about it. We not speaking on it.
When have they developed a player? When has Stefanski built a player, helped them get to the next level? When have we seen that in the system, especially at the quarterback position? When have we seen that with the Browns? A quarterback just developed with this team.
And I'm in full agreement with Mina. If he is not named the backup quarterback, it's time to part ways. It's time to trade him. It's time to get him out of your locker room because clearly your plan for development is not to develop Shedeur Sanders as a future starter of your team, and too much comes with him if you don't see that sort of plan for him.
This is a top-down situation. This is a top-down. Now, if you ask my thoughts on whether or not he should be QB2 or QB3, obviously QB2 here. Like the upside, day 3 pick, day 3 salary. You got to see what you got in these rookies. Actually, Gabriel's on a round 3 contract, which is day 2, but Shedeur's on a day 3 contract. It is cheap. And if he hits to that upside, if he develops, shows some promise after a game or two, and you keep working with him, and you got the pieces in place on defense, you got Judkins, and then you just decide to roll with him, and you got 2 first-round picks, there's a lot of upside to that. There's a lot of upside to that. Instead of putting all your eggs in the 2026 quarterback draft, you got a day 3 quarterback here who was projected to go in the first round. Depending on what you thought or not, he was projected to go in the first round. You got him in round 5. You got him on this low contract. Don't you want to explore that? See if he can hit to that? See if we can develop and get better? Yes, there's things that need developed. There's probably more now that we've been throwing the equipment guys and guys that are not in the league anymore. Maybe so. But again, don't you want to see that? Don't you want to see that through? Because if that hits, you're going to be able to build around them. You're going to be able to build around. You're going to be fighting for a Super Bowl, for a shot at the Super Bowl, going deep into the playoffs. You're built at defense. You need to add pieces to the offense. You got 2 first-round picks. You can move more players around. This is a player here that has a lot of upside. Pretty deep ball. Pretty around the red zone. Especially in tight windows. By the sideline. Just kicking it downfield. Accuracy downfield. Instead of just the short game. And you need the long game too. And on top of that, Gabriel hasn't been perfect. It's not like he's been out playing Shedeur. It's not like he's been doing that. It's not like in that Rams game, even though Gabriel did have a better outing, he was great. It wasn't. We were living on those out routes. We were living on the short game. And the announcers were calling that out. Like, soon you're going to have to go a different way. We were seeing that. Once he gets off scripts, what are we going to see with Gabriel? Is it going to unravel, or are we going to push it forward? And now when you're looking at here with Shedeur, I would want him to have a full week of practice before we wheel him out. That's what I would want out of Shedeur Sanders. A full week of practice as the QB1, ready to rock and roll, tailored to how he plays the game, focused on the defense, allowing him to be able to play the game, though, the way he plays it, pushing it downfield, being aggressive, understanding he will be more aggressive. Stefanski's going to get fired, though. Stefanski's going to get fired. That's probably when you're going to see the big changes, when Stefanski's out of there. But Shedeur Sanders, though, he's just a hit away. He's a play away from seeing him. We could see him this Sunday. Back in the game, 3 quarters. We could see him this Sunday. He's going to be out there sooner than later, though. Just keep waiting. He'll be out there. Even if he's QB3, he's going to be out there. And Luke McCown said it. Like, he was in this situation where he should have been QB2, brought down to QB3. They made him QB3 because they said, hey, you're better off as the QB2 if we can game plan with you for the full week. But we're going to bring up Gradkowski as QB2 because we like him better if we got to put him in middle of the game. However, Stefanski's never going to give you context. He's never going to tell you that. That makes some sense. However, when you think about this long term in this context, you just need to play for upside. You just need to play for the long term. You need to see what you got in these rookies because you got 2 first-round picks that are going to burn soon. You got to see what you have before you burn out on a new quarterback. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.